All right, so we are live with tonight's webinar. We're going to be checking up on the Hangout to see if everything is coming in clearly. I think we're doing pretty good. What's going on? My name is Ricky Barrows, and I have a very special guest here tonight. And this gentleman comes all the way from South Africa, and we actually met together a few years ago, and I'm going to share a little bit about my story, how I met this amazing man, this entrepreneur. His name is Dave Reineke. And Dave is he's a powerhouse leader. He's an entrepreneur. He's got a driven, determined spirit to live a life of freedom and live the life that he knows that is out there for him, even though he lives in a third world country. Now, how did we meet? How did Dave and I actually come together? It really came down to an older company that we were in, and it was called Empower Network. Now, Empower Network had these things that were called these hangouts that were not hangouts, but like these wake up calls, kind of, where people would go out there like on a podcast and they would share this information about like these people who are having these stories like success and stuff. Dave wasn't on that one. Dave's friend was actually on it, and they have a hangout together like once a week. And I listened to that guy's story, and I was like, wow, it's really amazing. It was like he was a cop. He got injured on the job, and he survived, but he needed to figure out how to make money online. And I'm going to have that gentleman come in as a guest as well. And as soon as I get some time with him, then I'll let you know when that actually comes in. But this is how I met Dave, because he was on the panel with him, and he would always be interacting and throwing in value with whatever the topic was. And then I simply friend requested Dave, and I said to him, actually, it was kind of funny, because when I first met him, I said to him, "Hey, I'm a spammer, and I'm looking to take advantage of innocent civilians on the internet, but you don't look like one I can easily take advantage of. You know, how can I pull this off?" Something like that. And he said, "Bro, that was hilarious. You should totally brand yourself." And we kind of hit it off right there. And I was, I was floored that the guy wanted to just keep talking to me. And so I asked him, did you go from My Lead System Pro over to, did you go from Empower Network, rather, over to My Lead System Pro? He says, "Yeah, I did." And he's like, "You want to talk about this? Or like have a video chat?" And I'm like, "A video chat? Like, we can see each other?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I said, "Okay." And then I saw the link where he threw it out there. I'm like, I'm really going to talk to this guy face to face. This is going to be the coolest thing ever. So I click on the link, and lo and behold, there's his face with the American hat logo and like the background and everything. It was totally familiar because I've been watching this guy for the last 6 months. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you're really here. You're really in front of me. We're actually having this conversation. And we talked for, I don't even know how long it was, about 10, 15 minutes. He didn't even say anything. I just simply said, "Dave, send me your link to join, and I'll join you." Because we had got such good chemistry, he had already built rapport with me without even knowing it. He had already built rapport with me based on all of his videos that he had been doing, his interacting with Pat on his show. And I was like, I felt like I already knew the guy, kind of. So when he was like right in front of me, I really had that connection with him. And it's really important that you do that, that you get on a Zoom hangout and you connect with people so they feel like, wow, this person really is just like they're taking the time to do this. And a little bit about Dave's story. He is I don't remember where he lives. I think he lives in Johannesburg, South Africa, or something. He lives on a whole other continent, let's put it that way, on the southern part of it. And what happened was he was working for an employer that was paying him, I think it was like $50 US per month and like that, it was like some outrageous amount of money that was like just like you can't live off of that. You certainly can't live off that in the States. You homeless people probably make more money than that, but like over down there, the currency they have over there is called the rand, and the rand is like really bad. So American money over there is really good, but he was getting paid like 400 rand, so that was like 50 US dollars, something along those lines, and per month. And what happened is that he just dove right in. He got connected with a mentor. He saw the value, and he just started making YouTube videos. Sure enough, slowly but surely, he started generating leads on the internet. He started getting in touch with people, building relationships with them. And then they joined the system through him. Now, Dave is able to go out and buy the things that he needs, live the life that he needs in the time freedom, and he's got the momentum to keep going. He knows what he needs to do. He's made his own products. He's been helping a bunch of people. I'm buttering the guy up so that when he gets on there, he feels all nice and happy. So, but he's a tremendous mentor, friend, leader, and we've been really good friends. And it's so weird because like we've been friends on the internet, for the last 2 years. I want to say 2.5 years, maybe even 3. I don't even know how long we've been on this, but like if we were to meet, like in the States or down in South Africa or whatever, it would be like we already know each other because we do. We've just been in constant communication with each other. We know each other's, what we love. We have so much in common, and we can just get on and hang out and start talking. And we've talked for hours at times. And Dave has definitely led the way to get us out of, he has put together such a very special, a very special group that we call the Workshop Warriors Institute. And Dave, along with Katie Stage, Pops, and Jamie Shaw, and so many other amazing people that have collectively got together, and we interact with each other, and we share our successes, we share our failures, we have a hangout every Saturday. I actually work on Saturdays, so I don't have the ability to come out on a hangout, one of those, So I missed the workshop. I'm definitely going to get back into it eventually once my schedule changes. So, which it will happen. So with that being said, I want to hand it over to Dave Reineke from South Africa. And if this guy can make it, if this dude can make this happen, there are no excuses. You can do it too. And the dude has an internet connection like that's slower than 56K, sometimes. So, I mean, he's got 4K over there. So we're definitely fortunate to have that. So, Dave, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, man. Hope you are okay. I'm just checking to see if I'm coming up on. Am I coming up on camera?
Oh yeah, loud and clear. Everybody can hear you. I can see you just fine. You still sound like a South African.
Yes, there I am. Okay, I'll see myself in the video. But anyway, great to be here, Ricky. Yes, a couple of corrections on what you were saying, but I appreciate it. I live in Pinetown, in a province called Natal. I know that's going to sound very funny, but it's called Zulu Natal, in a little place called yes. When I first, the rand, as you were explaining, is very weak, and it's about, when I first got started, it was like 10 rand to the dollar, and I was getting paid. It was about $400 a month. But $400 back then it's ridiculous. No one can live on $400 here. It's virtually impossible. It can't be done. Not very well either. You've lived with somebody else, got to have somebody paying that amount of money. But it was really bad back then. But I've never really been able to hold down a job for more than 2 years. And that's been, I think it's been because I've always felt inside that I wanted to do something more. Little story about the hat you mentioned earlier. The reason I wear an American hat is because I found my success through somebody I met in the States. And because of that, it's like a little homage to what's possible, even if you don't live in the States. And that's why I wear this hat, because it reminds me all the time of where I actually found my success. And going back to before I got started, or my journey. So I believe that life is a journey per se. I believe it's a process of going from one thing to another when you know where you want to go. If it's a journey, you come place to place, and you don't really know what's going on. You're just kind of waiting for the next thing to happen. You have a process in mind. When you know what you need to do, it becomes a lot easier. And I can remember way back when I used to have these meetings with a friend of mine. We used to meet in a coffee shop of what we could make our lives become, you know, starting our own companies, you know, and always having the conversation of, oh, you know what, somebody else stole my idea. I had this idea a few months ago. Well, this guy stole my idea. No, he didn't steal my idea. He just took action and actually did it, and I did nothing in the process. And I believe that a lot of people today live like that. They live on the ideas of others. They always think, well, that was something I thought about, so why couldn't I do that? And it took me about 7 years to realize that if I didn't start to change my own life, that I wasn't going to get anywhere. You know, I don't really have any degrees, go to school. I failed miserably. Well, I didn't get an F on everything, but I was an average student, you know, so I was a 50s kind of guy. I never really got a high score in anything, but I knew that I wanted to be more than I was. I didn't want to work for somebody else. I didn't want to have to go and be somebody's lackey. You know, I didn't want to be some person that bossed them around all the time. When I worked for somebody else, I hated that. I absolutely hated it because they always had their thumb on my life, telling me what to do. And I always resisted that. That's why I could never hold a job down for more than 2 years. And in this process of kind of fighting this battle, a friend of mine went overseas for about 2 years and came back, and he had discovered that you can actually make money on the internet. And I was very intrigued because I never saw this guy working anywhere, making money. And he says, well, you know, I'm kind of making money on the internet. And I'm like, how much are you making? And he was telling me that he was making between 10,000 and 20,000 Rand a month. It was, for me, that just blew my mind. I couldn't believe that anybody could make that money on the internet. Possible, because I know that other people have done it, but in this country, it kind of blew me away. And I said, well, could you please tell me what you're doing? And he kind of explained it to me, but he was also fairly new at the process. And I think if he told me everything, that he'd be giving away the secret to making money on the internet. You know, we always think. So he wouldn't tell me everything. And but he did tell me to do was to get online and to write a book, and to then go ahead and write articles about this book that I was writing. So he said, cool. I'm writing to write a book about something you know really well. And and the thing that I really love to talk about is human behavior. Ricky knows this. Most people, I know Pops knows that I love human behavior, psychology, personalities, that sort of thing. And I understand a lot about the psychology, about how people think. So I wrote a book on personalities, and it took me 2 years to write this book. It was so funny because I knew nothing about writing a book. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I just started out with an introduction. I actually wrote out the titles thinking about what I was going to talk about, and then just carried on from the introduction and started writing. And this took me about 18 months to write. The last 6 months, I was handing this book over to professionals that I knew, friends in the business of, you know, reading, advertising, and I was saying, could you please read my book and just correct all the spelling mistakes? And I think I had one person.
I want to interrupt you for a second. What is that book called?
Oh, Personality Analytics.
All right, cool.
It was
just go ahead and just like find it. Can they get it on Amazon?
Yeah, they can get it on Amazon. It's on.
Go get it. All right,
so anyway, so I had written this book, and I was telling you that so many people had contributed to the actual correcting of the spelling, and had gone through a person who was an English major. I think two people that were in English either. She read the whole thing, tried to correct all the spelling mistakes that I'd made because I'm terrible at spelling. Was an English major, and then another professional who had and in the advertising industry, and it still came back with so many mistakes. And my buddy Bruno, who's got spastic cerebral palsy, and he doesn't have a lot of movement, he can't really move that well. He read my entire book in one sitting and corrected every single spelling mistakes that I had made. That's how good he was. He should get paid for that sort of thing. He was incredible. And I put it out on the internet, and I think in the space of 6 months, I sold 2 copies purely by accident. It wasn't something I'd actively marketed. Anyway, so I just put this thing out there, and I wasn't really making a lot of money. I wasn't making hardly any money at all. And when I found out I made some money with that book, it was like weeks later, and I didn't even know about it. And I think I had lost the payment through the process. Anyway, I didn't know what the heck I had to do. I didn't know what the heck I needed to do. And one day on my computer, and I actually typed in the phrase, how to make money on the internet, how to make money online, that type of thing. And I came across a video with a guy by the name of Ryan Maynard, who was on there, and he was saying, hey, if you want to make money on the internet, contact me and I'll teach you how to do it for free. You know, he had this free program that he was promoting. I can do free. I got no problem with free. So I wrote an email to him. Now you have to remember, I've been writing to a Jeff Walker, who originally inspired me to go ahead and try something online. He's a mystery. And nobody responded back. I remember I contacted another guy. Nobody responded back. I thought, oh, well, I'll write an email and see if he responds. And he did. He actually replied to my email, and we started a correspondence. Later, he did exactly what I did with Ricky, to hang out together. And I thought, wow, the same thing he was thinking. Gee, this guy's actually talking to me. I can't believe it. He's actually going to have a conversation with me. And I said, dude, you've got this program. I can't get this thing to work. Can you please help me? So he says, okay, man, let's try and figure this thing out together. And the program he had was basically an affiliate program where you trial offers and get paid like $10 to $20 per offer if somebody signed up, even if they canceled, or $20 or $30, whatever you're promoting. But I couldn't participate because I was living in South Africa. It was a program only meant for people living in the States and people living in Australia and New Zealand, basically first world countries. Those were the only countries that could participate. And he said, man, this isn't working. I don't think we can actually get you on this thing. But he said, I have something else. And this is when he introduced me to Empower Network with all of their products on there. And I said, how much is this thing going to cost? And he says, dude, it's like 3 cups of coffee at Starbucks. I'm like, how much is a cup of coffee at Starbucks? He says, dude, it's like $25. And I said, $25? Do you have any idea how expensive that is? Man, that's crazy. I can't spend that money. What the heck? And I said, well, dude, I got nothing else to offer you, but that's something you can use. And I can help you if you follow the process of that program. And I said, okay, man, send me the link. And I got this link. I started thinking about it. I even went to my friends and family and told them about this thing. And I remember my dad actually saying, you know, I think this thing could work for you if you just give it a try. And he actually gave me $25 worth of the rand. It was like 250 rand or something. He gave me 25 bucks. Anyway, I said, great, this is awesome. I'm going to sign up and I'm going to get going. So I put it on my card. I sign up. I put in my credit card details and I click, let's go. And then I went. And then there was a tiny little fine print that said it was a 25 bucks monthly, and I nearly had a heart attack. And I thought, are you kidding? I got to come up with this every single month. I thought it was a one-time deal. And I thought, you know what, the hell with this. If I'm going to make this work, I'm going to go all in. So I clicked go for it, and I clicked on the button. And then there was another payment. I had to become an affiliate. I thought, an affiliate? What the heck was that? I didn't even know what it was. You know, much like Pat Patterson, he didn't know what the heck that was. I thought, an affiliate, what's that about? So I realized then that I needed to go and find work because I wasn't working at the time. And I was desperate to get into this program because I wanted to learn. And I remember going out looking for work. I tried to get a job at McDonald's. I tried to get a job at Steers. I become a waiter, although I don't think I could ever do that job, but I tried everything I could and no one was hiring. So I did the other thing that I didn't want to do, and I went and I begged my friends and my family if they could actually give me some work. And one of my friends actually said, Dave, you know what? I need somebody to help me out. Would you mind? And I said, absolutely. I'll do whatever it is you need to do. I'll be at your place every single day from 8 until 4. Let's do this thing. And he gave me a job. And as a result, that's how I started paying for my membership, my affiliate fee, my inner circle, the program that I was using, and it came to about $150 or something like that. But in order for me to stay in, I needed to work. And I didn't know what the heck I was doing, all right? They had some training. I was setting everything up. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but I remember Ryan saying to me all the time, Dave, you can do this. You can make this happen. You can actually do this if you just follow the instructions. And I remember him showing me something about YouTube, about setting up basic things for YouTube, like titles and descriptions. But that's the skill he showed me. And every time I needed to know something else, I would just kind of send him an email and say, okay, what is it I need to do? And he said that he had the strategy. It was basically the old bait and switch strategy, all right, which a lot of people do today. I don't do it anymore, but we were kind of learning because Ryan had just got into the online marketing industry a few months before I did, and he was having success. And all he would do was he would go and find a product where you needed to make some money in order to earn money on the internet, and he would give people alternatives to this product. And you would basically start the video by saying, hey, this is Dave. I'm not affiliated with this product. I just want to give you some advice about it, and then I'm going to give you some alternatives. And that's what I would do. I would try and make these videos, but nothing was working because I wasn't doing the process properly. I knew how to rank videos because I was learning that skill over time, but I didn't know how to start my videos because I would start my videos by saying, hey, my name is Dave. I live in South Africa. My favorite color is green. I love dogs. I've been in electronics. I love computers. And then like halfway in my video, I'd kind of get into the main point. So, you know, people were watching the videos, but they were clicking off them early. I don't know what the heck, you know, I didn't know what I was doing. And but I knew how to rank videos. I was learning that skill as I was going along. I knew how to rank my videos. If there was a product, I knew how to rank it because I was doing that very well. Anyway, so as I was learning that skill about making videos, I went online because back then I was trying to get views. I was trying to get subscribers by the cheap way, buying subscribers, buying views. And I was going online looking for websites to help me with this process. And I came across this advert that said, if you pay me, what was it? If you pay me, I think it was like $20 or $25, I will put 25 ads up for you on Craigslist. And I thought, wow, I can't get onto Craigslist because I live in South Africa. We have Craigslist here, but it's so small. Only a few people know about it. And it's only in 4 provinces, but it's not big at all in this country. And I thought, wow, Craigslist. All right, that is really hardcore stuff, because then I can reach people in America. So I said, $25, can we make it 5? And he says, no, it's got to be $25. So I waited until I had the money, and then I gave him $25. And that was kind of under the table stuff, because it wasn't an official process to do this. I kind of just sent him a PayPal thing, $25, and I just was kind of left there for him to actually do it. And you know, he could have just broken his word and not do it, but he did it. He said, wait 12 days, and then after that, your ads will work. And I thought, great. So I waited 12 days, and it was the longest 12 days of my life. And I remember on the 12th day, when the ad was going to go live, or the products I was selling, I saw my advert was actually up there. And I think it was halfway through the day, and I made my very first sale. And this is 8 months after I first got started. I made my very first and I couldn't believe. I thought, wait a minute, I've just made how much? And I went to go and check if it was real. I didn't believe it. I was in denial, and we know that denial is not only a river that runs through Africa. It's a very real process that lives in your mind. And I couldn't believe it. And then finally, when I accepted it, I broke down in tears. I couldn't believe it. I didn't actually learn a skill that was complete. I just had found a way to get an advert onto Craigslist where I could make money from a product that I was selling. And I thought, this is my golden ticket. I have struck gold. I am going to be rich. And I thought, okay, let me do this again, because after a while, your ads go down. So I tried to contact this guy again. And there were crickets. Nobody could be found. I could not find this guy at all. But he had sent me a PDF with all of the proof, where he had given me links to the actual adverts that I had been shown. And I think I still have that PDF on my computer somewhere, where he had put up the ads, put like a picture, a description, and a link to click on the product. And so I thought, if I could do that, if I could just duplicate what he did and get onto Craigslist, I could do the same thing. So I thought, okay, let me learn how to get on Craigslist. And back then, there was a way you could do it, but there was a lot of red tape. You needed to buy a proxy server. You needed to buy, I think it was like $2 or $3 to get an American phone number, so you could get the code, so you could put up the ad and everything. But it took me a while, but I eventually found a way to actually get an ad up on Craigslist. And I duplicated his strategy to the T, and guess what happened? I managed to make more sales with that same process. And then after a while, Craigslist smacked me on the wrist and said, no more, they're shutting down, and they shut down everything. They blacklisted my account. I couldn't post anymore. And I thought, what am I going to do now? Because I thought that was my golden ticket, right? So I thought, okay, let me think about this for a second. All I did was I copied somebody's strategy. All I did was found somebody who knew what they were doing, and I just did exactly what they did by looking at their blueprint. And I thought, what is the skill that I actually know? And that was YouTube. I'd learned how to rank videos very well. I didn't know what the heck I was doing because I wasn't saying everything correctly, but I thought YouTube is the same thing. All I got to do is to find somebody who's actually good online and just duplicate what they are saying and doing on the internet. And back then with Ryan, I was in this little community where we would have a guy teaching about Facebook marketing and Twitter marketing. And there was a guy that was very good on YouTube marketing, and his name was Kevin Ferguson. And I went and I went on stalker status looking for this guy. And I found a little 10-minute training video that he had made. Fortunately, he made it, he put it online for a few weeks, and then he took it down again for some reason. But I downloaded the video and I followed this video. It was like 10 minutes long. And he explained everything that needed to be done on video. So all I did is I duplicated his strategy. And guess what happened? I started to make sales because I followed a blueprint. So I had a product, I made a video, and I connected people to ways to buy the product. And that's how I started to make money on the internet. And all I did is I repeated the process, and I 10x the process. So that I didn't just do it once. I didn't even do it twice. I did it about 6 to 8 times a day. I did it 6 to 8 times a day, and I just never stopped. At one stage, I didn't do this every day, but at one stage, I was doing 50 videos a day, uploading 50 videos a day. It took a hang of a long time, and I was working around the clock, but I was that crazy. That's how I had so much drive. You know, people talk about this a lot. They talk, how is it you keep going? How is it that you keep focusing? How is it that you keep on doing what you're doing today? And to explain that, you know, you've got to think about, we all talk about a why and why you want to do this. And I'll tell you my why. It's very specific because I don't believe that your why should just be about your family and making sure that the people you care about are taken care of. That's okay. But when it's specific to a moment where you can actually realize this is the reason I want to do this. I was invited to go to, at my church, I was invited to go to this party with a group of people from our Bible study. And I was told that they were having they were going to have a good time and sit down and have a chat. And I had no money. I think I had enough money to buy a Coke and a glass. So I had this great idea. I thought, you know what? I'm going to go to this party and I'm going to stand with this Coke for about 6 hours and sip it very slowly. That's what I was going to do. I couldn't afford anything else. Anyway, I go to this party and I'm standing there with everybody talking, and a friend of mine reaches out his hand and he pulls me a bit closer to him and he hands me 200 Rand in my hand. And he says, Dave, this is from my wife and myself, and we want you to have this, and we don't want it back. Because they understood my situation. And I can remember at that particular time that I never wanted to be in that position again. And this is before I found my success on the internet. This is what drove me. That I never wanted to be in a position where I had to rely on other people to take care of me. And that's happened a few times in my life. We're going out and everybody invited to someplace out. There were a couple of friends that knew my situation helped me. They wouldn't say anything, but it was so humiliating to be that person. Anyway, and that's what drove me. So, you know, this is how I've had business. It's through YouTube. It's a strategy that works. And people say, what do I need to get started? How is it that I can get going? And the first advice I would give you is that you need to find something you love. You need to find something that you adore and that you could talk about for hours. If you go to out with a group of friends, what is the subject that you keep on referring back to? What do you talk about the most? Do you talk about sports? Do you talk about health? Do you talk about politics? Do you talk about, for my case, psychology? Because that was my thing. That's the thing I always spoke about. What is it that you cannot stop talking about? Find a passion, something that you absolutely love to do. And once you have your passion, then what you need to do is you need to share that with the world. So for me, I make videos about how to deal with stress, how to deal with depression, how to deal with other people that are in your way type stuff. I'm always making videos in regards to that. Not so much now because my connection is rubbish when I'm uploading stuff. But and once you have that, you put the content out for people to hear about it. And Ricky knows this. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. You have your passion, you share that with the world, and then what you do is you find products connected to your passion. You find products connected to your passion so that you can make money off of those products as an affiliate. And then now the big question then is Dave, I don't know how to make videos. I don't know how to upload videos. I don't know how to use Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat. I don't know how to make a blog. How do I do that stuff? And this is where, Ricky's talking about a system called Mighty System Pro. And this is what I was using in the very beginning. This is the system, a very similar system that Ryan introduced to me, that actually gave me all of the tools that I needed to learn so that I could be in a position today where I'm financially independent. I don't need to rely on a boss. If I want to go ahead and buy something, I just go ahead and do it. When I first got started, I had a computer that was an overweight. It was an overpriced paperweight. That's all it was. One measly little monitor. And now, if I want a better computer, I just go out and buy one. I have the time freedom to do whatever I want to do. I don't need to work for anybody else.
I want to add to that. You were mentioning how you could only afford one Coke, and you were really embarrassed with that. What did you tell me an hour ago that you were about to go and buy?
Yeah, well, that's right. We need a washing machine. So we're going to go out and just get a washing machine.
And what would that? And what is that actually? What's that washing machine going to cost you? And would you have been able to afford that back in the day?
Never. Not in this. It's not. It's like a dream purchase. It's not something that I could afford ever. In fact, the machine that we're getting is probably as much as a salary is in some cases. So you cannot imagine the type of stress that comes with. And a lot of people in positions where they can't make any money feel like they're in a position where they're not able to do it. You got to remember that when I got started, there was no ways that I could afford to pay a monthly subscription of $100 to $150. So the only thing I could do was to go out and find work. The only thing I could do was to go out and find work. And this is why, somebody will say to me, Dave, it's too expensive. And Dave, I don't know how I can afford it. Well, you need to start taking action. You need to be the person that's the difference between somebody who does. We were just talking about this in a previous hangout with Pops and Katie about not taking action, and the fact that the people to take action. And it's kind of like, I remember going on a juicing diet. When I just juiced for 28 days straight. And I remember asking a friend of mine if he would like to do it with me. And his response was, I'll see how you go, and then I'll take action. Now, if you listen, you're never going to get there. I didn't have anybody else to fall back on it. And that's the difference. You need to start putting your socks up and saying, you know what, if I can't afford it, find a way to afford it. And if you live in a first world country, if you live in a place where the average salary in America is about $3,000 a month, is that correct? It's about $3,000, even if it's less than that.
That is that's a decent. And if you said you were looking at jobs over at McDonald's and stuff, the average starting pay at a McDonald's job here in the States is $15 an hour. So
that's insane. That is insane. I can't even
and they're whining. They're whining and complaining about it, like you wouldn't believe. I actually there was a job that I had as I worked in a warehouse and I would put boxes on a conveyor belt. And this was before I actually got into school. And that job was paying me $20 an hour. And we have overtime, which is like once you get past 40 hours, you get paid time and a half. So whatever that is. So like I was getting paid $30 an hour after 40 hours of work, and I would be pulling in like $1,000 a week just doing that. So
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. There are, and if you can't find work, you can find work. I mean, if you can't, if you don't have work now, go ahead and find work. And very often, it's not about whether there is work; it's about what work are you willing to do. You know, a lot of the reason people hire South Africans when we go overseas to Europe is because we're willing to do anything. You know, there's a job in the UK of somebody I know counting cars the whole day, 1, 2, 3, 4, because they need to know they need a traffic light or not. But nobody else is willing to do that. What are you willing to do to actually change your future? What are you willing to do to make a change in your life? And this is what I had to get over. You know, I was not willing. I worked for a guy once for 6 months without getting paid once.
wow, that's
insane, right? That's insane. And then when he eventually did pay,
crackers, like, well, how was he doing that?
yeah, it was actually, he ended up being a con artist, and it was really, really bad. But I was so desperate to help this person. This is the mindset I had. I was so desperate to actually do something. I just kept on working. I kept on working regardless. And I've just found a way to survive. And you need to find a way to survive. And this myth out there that says you can make without putting any money in is just nonsense. It simply doesn't exist. If you want, why would anybody spend money on you if you're not willing to invest in yourself? If you're not willing to put more value on who you are? I have really good skills in teaching people how to market on YouTube, teaching people how to write emails, how to write copy, so that I can teach other people. But that's only because I've done it so many times. I have a lot of skills in studying products and speaking to people and getting them, because I've done it so many times. This interview I've had with Ricky right now, I can do on the fly because I've done it so many times. And it's not because, you know, it starts out when you get really nervous. It starts out when you get really shaky. And I'm sure Ricky felt that way when he first started his hangouts online. First time online, and he gets on there, and he just goes for it. And then when it finally ends, he doesn't know how to end the thing, and it just kept on rolling and kept on rolling and kept on rolling. But he did it.
I'm so glad that was so much fun. Those people were so incredibly rude on that hangout. I hope they never come back. Oh my goodness, Dave, weren't they rude? Yeah, Dave, they were rude. You're still live on your hangout.
Yeah, it's and it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. And then to top it off, I went to go and visit. One of the first things I said to Ryan was, Ryan, one day we're going to meet. One day I'm going to shake your hand. One day we are going to meet, man. We're going to meet, and it's going to be awesome. And 2 years later, I get on a plane on my own dime, and I fly to Las Vegas, and I will go there to meet Ryan Maynard. I met him. There's actually a video I've got of it. Maybe I'll give it to Ricky to put it up. But it's on my profile. It's on my Facebook profile, Ricky. So if you want to see it, it's right there. But I met Ryan and Pat and Katie and Pops. If they're watching right now, I met them. I got to spend a few days with Pops and Katie. Got to spend a few days with Ryan. And it was amazing. I even got to spend a few days with my cousin who met me. We had a great time. But a lot of stuff can happen if you're just willing to work for it. And this is how I've got here today. And And now I can't stop thinking about it. I walk into a store, I look at people, and the only thing I'm thinking about is how can they improve their sales? How can they improve their marketing? I said to one of the guys who was just standing there like a pole, and he wasn't getting any response. And I said to him, you know what you should do? You should stand out. What do you mean? Go ahead and get yourself a pink hat. Go and get a pink hat, just a pink one, and wear it every single day in the store. And when you help people, they'll be looking for the guy with the pink hat. It's one that stands out the most, or have a big whistle that's, luminous green, and flick it around, make that your thing, so that when a customer walks, they'll go straight to you. So I give that type of advice out to people who want to be better at what they're doing online. So offline, for that matter. And that's really my story, Ricky. I hope that's been helpful.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. That is, there's a few things that like I didn't know. Like I didn't know your friend actually gave you the money with that for like the rand. And we actually did a calculation. The 200 rand to the U.S. dollar is actually $14.78, and that is basically what the average teeny bopper will make in an hour over at McDonald's, and they'll make it at like Target, distribution center or whatever, and we make that in an hour. So like the average money that you guys make will definitely motivate you to make you want to make more money like elsewhere. So that story is really, really cool, and we're gonna like hang on to this particular video and put it somewhere, like maybe on my blog or somewhere else, and just have it, because that is such a cool story.
Well, that's how I did it. And it really comes down to, as I said, having a passion, putting out content about a product connected to your niche, and then learning the skills to be able to reach people. And this includes attraction marketing, writing copy, as Ricky has on the side there. If you want to learn how to read courses, increase your skill set, because the more you increase your skill set, the more you can actually succeed. And I never succeeded first time around. Failed in my YouTube marketing. Even though I learned a skill, I failed. I knew how to rank, but I didn't know what the heck I was saying, because I wasn't starting out the video in the correct way, saying why people, what they needed to learn or what I was going to teach them. I was saying all kinds of stuff, but I failed in my marketing. I failed in my YouTube marketing. I learned another skill in Craigslist on how to actually rank, how to get my stuff up on Craigslist. I still failed there. I came back to YouTube. I learned the correct way of doing it. So I think I failed 3 or 4 times before I succeeded in actually making a sale. So you need to work hard on failing. Does that make sense? So you need to fail as many times as possible, because the more you fail, the more you will get to your success. I don't know of anybody who's actually gone into something and succeeded first time around. I've never known anybody to do that. People always fail. And if you're afraid of failure, my gosh, I mean, that is, you've got to get over yourself, realize that you are a person who makes mistakes, and that you need to keep on trying until you get it. That's why, when I say keep on keeping on, it really is close to me. You need to keep on, because I'm still online. And there are some people that have tried to do this for 6 months and back, and they say, you still doing this thing? And I say, absolutely, because I never stopped. Because my exit strategy is a tombstone. I'm not going to stop. I'm never going to stop. Something here. If you keep on going, you will win. It doesn't matter how fast or how over the top people may seem. It's your intestinal fortitude then.
Yeah.
Talking about middle names.
Never ever quit. That's definitely the thing. Never ever quit. Would you lose something?
No, no, no. I'm just looking at the comments.
Check out the comments. Yeah, yeah. It's definitely a powerful thing, when you just make yourself available to learn a new skill, and you are out there definitely trying your best to to make it happen. You just decide this is exactly what I'm going to be doing, and I'm not going to change my mind about it. I know exactly how you feel, because I had some people in my life, and they said, like, well, what if this isn't God's will for your life? And I said to myself, I'm like, if I don't go down this road, I'm going to be borrowing money for the rest of my life. Because over here in the States, that's all people do. They borrow money, and they borrow a lifetime amount of debt, and they bury themselves in it. And that's why they have tremendous financial problems. They have fights over money. They have problems left and right. Um, like, you can have an excessive love of money, greed, and you'll trouble your own house. But you can also have like a very healthy relationship to money, where money's a tool and it does what you tell it to do, rather than you do what it tells you to do. Money doesn't control. Money doesn't control me, I don't think. But working my way up to like where the point is, like money starting to work for me. That's where I'm going to be. And anyway, they were telling me like, what if this isn't God's will? And I was like, I don't believe I'm going in the right direction by borrowing somebody else's money to buy the things that I need. I think all throughout the Bible it says borrowing money is stupid. It just bluntly says that it's brutish. This old King James version, but it says borrowing money is stupid, and it's like all over the scripture. So I said to myself, that's okay. I'm gonna stop borrowing money, and I'm never gonna borrow money ever again. And then somebody had the audacity to say, well, what if God wants you to borrow money? And I'm like, did it like they glossed over, because it's so common over here. People have this common belief that like, they can borrow money and be okay. Yeah, it may temporarily solve a problem, but at the same time, it causes a lifetime amount of problems. Show me a debt-free person who's in the same amount of aggravation and stress as somebody who's in debt. And it really depends on like what you do with that, what you do with debt, what you do with that. Without it, it's really up to you. And like you were saying, like it all comes down to mindset, thinking correctly, making a decision, just saying enough is enough, and I'm not going to live my life hoping that somebody else is going to pay for my food, or somebody else is going to pay my bills, or somebody's going to have like some kind of compassion on me. And when I was growing up, I actually believed that the only valuable thing in life were the things that were free, and I just focused on trying to find things that were free, handouts, and we have this thing over here in the States. It's called unemployment. I don't know if you have it. I don't know if you're aware of it, but like once a person loses their job, then they can collect money from the government, and you probably know what it is. And honestly, that's like that's $350 a week. That's $350 per week. And if you have two people on unemployment, then you have $700 a week. So you can imagine people how they work the system. Huh?
Yeah, that's a lot of money for me. $350.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money in this. I'm going to say in this country, because wow, that's. It's funny. My parents have a pension that they get from the government, and their pension comes to, if you can look this up, I don't know, it's about 1,200 or 1,300 rand a month. If you looked it up, I don't know if you can look it up and see how much that is a month.
yeah.
But you can't even afford. That doesn't even cover buying groceries.
It's $88.63 US dollar.
That's that's insane. So you can imagine, and the cool thing about where I am right now is that I can help my folks, you know, and that's what that's something I want to do. I never want to be able to put my parents in a home. I don't want to do that. They're closing in on 80, frail, losing eyesight, and so it's tough for them. You know, I drive them around when they want to go places, and I can only do that because I'm in a position where I'm financially independent. There's no ways that I can do that if I was working a full-time job. There's no ways that I go and live with in a home, and that's just not going to happen.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Oh man, that's amazing. And you know, when you are in that position where you are, you know, you're you're struggling, you're suffering, you're sick and tired, being sick and tired, you will do anything it takes to get out of that situation. I mean, look at Erin Birch. Like, she was a single mom with 2 kids, making less than, you know, $1,500 to $2,000 Canadian, and that is like, I mean, like, for one person, they'd have to be living on rice and beans at like the dirt cheap, like unhealthy rice and beans per month, and if they were gonna pay for the rent, you know, because rent out here, it's like, you know, it varies. It can vary between $700 a month to $1,800 per month renting an apartment. You know, getting like, you know, a crappy place to live, and you know, it depends on where you live, but you know, I mean, when you look at her, she is now on her way to. I believe she's in the air and on her way to the United Kingdom, bringing her kids over to this, was it Ireland, England, Scotland, just going to these countries and seeing her dream. That's like her dream vacation. And she's living it right now because she did not quit. She just kept trying. She just kept staying focused on getting really, really good at one thing. And, you know, that's what we all need to do. And I want to just say, you know, so Dave, let me ask you this. So how does it feel now that you can contribute and that you can help your family out? You can, and not only that, but you have like the time to go see them. You can go, you can buy the things that you need. You can go ahead and do. You could live comfortably. You know, you're not driving around South Africa and like in a gas guzzling Hummer that is just like blazing down the street, you know, burning the last half of the reserves, you know, that they have there.
Well,
how does it make you feel?
It's amazing. I mean, I up till about maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I never owned my own cell phone. Never been able to do that. I got a smartphone right here, which you can take for granted, but it certainly does provide for more opportunities. But you can never forget about how bad it was when you first got started. And a lot of people I've been accused of forgetting about the unsuccessful, forgetting about people who haven't made it. And they say, well, it's easy for you to speak because, you know, you were lucky. And I can remember telling my friends that I was going to do this, and nobody believed me. Not everybody kind of laughed at me and shrugged me off. And I remember one guy in particular apologized. He came back to me and he says, you know, Dave, I really didn't think that you were going to do it. I didn't think it was going to happen. And he manned up and he apologized to me. One person did that I can remember. Maybe somebody else did, but one person did. And then the rest of them were saying, oh, well, you were just lucky. You just lucked into it. So are you kidding? I never lucked into it. I was like Gary Player, the golfer, the championship golfer in South Africa, said the harder he works, the luckier he gets, because he worked every single day. He, he would play golf every day, and that's how he actually become good at what he did, and that's how he won the championship, because he just worked really hard, and that's the difference. But people shrug that off, but they forget that I was in the same position. But now, when they are working, I don't need to. They have to work up their leave. I don't need to. I can take leave whenever I want to. Fortunately, because of what I've done and because of the trouble my internet's given me, I've been able to kind of take it a bit easier because I'm in a position to do it. But, that's only because I've worked really hard. And it's an amazing feeling. It really is. But you need to work hard at getting it there. And you need to cry. You need to bleed. You need to get tired. And you need to be up for long periods of time. If you're not willing to do that, don't expect anything to change. All right? It needs to happen. And, it's just something you cannot, there are no shortcuts to success. There are no shortcuts unless you are winning the lottery. And even in that case, you'll probably lose all the money very quickly. So, yeah, that's all I have to say. But thank you, Ricky, for having me. I really appreciate you, brother. And it's just an amazing opportunity for me to tell my story again. Thank you so much.
Yeah, David, it really means a lot to me. And I think that as my first guest on this program, on the show, I felt there was definitely you were worthy of that seat, to take the first seat. And we're gonna have a couple more people come on this program. Awesome people on here. So you've been watching this. You've been really enjoying this man's story, and it's a real life example of like what it takes to make money on the internet, to actually get your own business going. And if a dude from this man from South Africa can do it, there's just no excuse. If you have an income and you have a way to fund your business, you have a way to get started. All you need is a passion and a dream of being free from like the rat race, or maybe you like doing what you're doing, but you're just looking to make like to double your income so you can take your family on vacations, or just like pay off your house faster, or pay off some old debts, or buy whatever you need, whatever it is. But the main thing is just like you need. You're going to make a decision one way or the other. You're going to make a decision to stay where you are or to come into this community. Now, I highly recommend that you click on the button below where it says "Get Started" right now. Or if you're watching this on my YouTube channel and you've been really encouraged by it, you probably see a link somewhere in the description where it says "Get Started Now," and you can go ahead and click on that button so you can join us. And with that being said, we're going to close this hangout. Dave, I'd like to stick around with you for a little bit afterwards, then we can just like chat about the whole thing. And I'm really I'm proud of you, man. Like, I'm proud of just to be part of your team, and just I'm here because of you. I've been able to. You've helped me out so much. You've been just getting me going in the right direction, and you were really supportive, even when people that the people that were in my life, and they were like completely against me getting even this far. And they said I wouldn't even make a dime off of on the internet with the system. And I'm like, well, okay, well, we're gonna have to prove them all wrong. So with that being said, we're gonna close it out for the night. Thank you for everybody for watching this, and we'll see you on the next webinar next week. Take care. Say bye, Dave.
Bye, Dave.
I knew you were going to say that.